Hey YouTube, my name is Tashi and welcome back to ToucheTashe, where I'm here covering a few shows that I've been watching lately. So the show I decided to cover today, we'll go over, is Joseline's Cabaret Season 3, Las Vegas, Episode 5. And I believe the title is 4 on 1, if I'm not mistaken, but let's get into it. So the show picks up where we left off, where it's Capri and Wet fighting. So they were sitting while the other girls won with Miss Wet. I don't know why I keep calling her Miss Wet, but I'm gonna call her Miss Wet. So Wet is clapping, center of attention over in the section where the girls lost, because they were in the loser section, it was the winner section. So Capri is still fuming about her losing and not being a part of the opening. And she swore she had it in the bag, but she had no sex appeal, so I don't know what she thought, but it's neither here nor there at this point. So Wet is screaming, clapping, singing. The girls are out, and her and Capri go back and forth, and Capri ends up throwing a water bottle at Wet. In turn, Wet throws a water bottle back at Capri, and then they just start fighting. So Black Diamond is on the side, getting into it, telling someone, "Oh, that hit me." Well, you're sitting right next to Capri. Obviously, clearly, it would typically hit you. You're sitting there, so now she wants to fight, and then Raven jumps in. These girls have an issue with Wet. They have like a sweet spot for her, and I don't understand. Like, she's annoying. Yeah, I would be tired of hearing her too, but a lot of the anger towards Wet is misguided. Capri is upset because she did not get picked for the final 5 for the opening of the Cabaret. You're not mad at this girl. She's annoying as hell, but she did not deserve getting jumped on like that. And then she's fighting her. She's falling all over the floor. You too big to be hitting the ground like that, sis. Like, I was really disappointed in Capri in this episode, because I actually liked her. I was like, she's cool, really self-assured and things like that, a little shaky with some things, but for the most part I was looking to like her. But this episode turned me off from her completely. She has a lot of anger issues, and it's really disappointing. So I'm gonna look at my notes. Capri starts the fight. First of all, that's where we're gonna start. She starts the fight, and it's just mayhem from there. The girls are sliding all over the floor. There's titties out everywhere. They done snatched Miss Wet's wig off. Her breast is everywhere. This girl has been in so many fights since she's been on this series. She got the breast 5 months ago, and it's like, girl, you just got them titties. Like, relax. You just spent money on them titties, and you're getting into all these fights. I still don't understand why Black Diamond and Raven jumped in. It was pointless. Like, girl, they just want to have a problem just to have a problem, to be in the mix. Capri is uncontrollable at this point. She's uncontrollable, yelling and screaming, yelling at security, trying to get past security, screaming at the top of her lungs, threatening that she's gonna kill Wet. And I'm like, girl, it's not that serious. Why are you so upset at this woman being extra on television? They talk about her with camera time. They talk about her wanting to be attention, but the point of the show is to garner attention. Nobody wants to see a boring show. If you're not saying anything or doing anything, no one's gonna pay you in mind. So the fact that they keep bringing up, oh, she wants camera time. Y'all, a reality show. That's the point, is to be on camera. She is annoying, very much so. You will be like, girl, like, can you just have a seat, eat your breakfast, put your titties up? But you guys are part of this cabaret. Like, don't act like you guys are above, because compared to last season, this season is complete. These girls are trash, like, all across the board. It's just, for the most part, they're not that alluring. Like, they're not the cutest out of the girls. They're not well put together as a whole. Like I mentioned in my other reviews, they're not put together as a whole. Like, they look a mess. No disrespect, because some of, like, it's moments where I like the girls. Like, I'm highly disappointed in Capri because I wanted her to shine. I actually liked her. Amber was annoying, but they were entertaining nonetheless. Like, they were entertaining until they get, it's something about Wet that is a thorn in their fucking side. Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's beyond me. So the situation is completely out of hand. Joseline and the security are trying to calm the girls down. It's not working. CASHAPP is uncontrollable, trying to run through the security, screaming at the top of her lungs, threatening to kill her, like I mentioned probably. Wet is shouting, "Who asked you beat? Who asked you beat?" She's shaking her little butt cheeks on the bar, antagonizing CASHAPP. CASHAPP is pretty much mad at this point. I honestly, I didn't understand why CASHAPP was so upset at Wet. I understand her anger was completely misguided, and it shows her Bailey. This dog will not let me be great, but let's see if I can finish what I was saying. The girl is uncontrollable at this point, completely out of control. Wet won't shut the hell up either, and it's like, one of y'all, like, please, like, just somebody just silence. CASHAPP was already upset and seeing red, and she just was finding a reason to take her aggression out on someone, and Wet is an easy target. I find it completely trash. Wet don't shut the hell up, because she's at this point, I guess she's at this point with the girls, like, if y'all gonna come at me, I'm not gonna back down. So the whole episode was them here at this bar, at the Cabaret. They spent the whole episode in this fight, and it's like, are we gonna do this every episode? The girls are gonna no dancing. Like, I don't remember the fights being that intense. For the most part, besides Lucky and Blueface Barbie, they fought like the first 4 episodes, but it was other things going on while the episode was going. This episode was just them fighting the whole episode, and I was like, this is very exhausting looking. I'm pretty sure when they look back at themselves, they're gonna feel a ways, because they look crazy as hell, for sure. Meanwhile, the other girls that won are sitting in amazement, just like watching. They didn't get no champagne. Amber's like, where's the champagne? But I'm gonna enjoy the show. I'm not worried about them. I won. Can't even celebrate, because these harlots over here are acting a fool. So CASHAPP talks to Joseline like, oh, she's disrespectful. She's disrespecting you. She's calling you Jay. And I think she called her Go Ahead Jay or something like that. I'm pretty sure if Joseline was upset about that, she would have checked her. Like, she's been checking all of you guys since she laid eyes on y'all. So I'm pretty sure Jay didn't bother her that much. Once again, like I said, CASHAPP was just finding a reason to release this anger that she was expressing, because she had beings that she did not get picked. Because if she got picked, she wouldn't be this tight. Like, you mad at the wrong thing, mama. Like, get your dancing together. Nothing about what you're doing right now is appealing. Nothing about it is sensual. Nothing about it is sexual. Nothing about it is alluring. You look big and aggressive. You too big to be fighting her in the first place. I was very disappointed. I'm like, girl, like, I want you to be great, but you're doing too much. Like, she was doing entirely too much this whole episode. I just was over it. CASHAPP was super pissed. Super pissed. Misguided anger. Wet continues to talk her shit. She's talking her mess. She's not backing down. She says she's not gonna let these girls jump her, because in the beginning of the episode, Raven and I'm about to say Blackface, Black Diamond jumped on her too, because she got hit with, I guess, a water bottle or some water. Like, girl, it was not that serious. You just wanted to find a reason to be mad. And I think they're followers. Like, they just wanted to be a part of something. The girl, Raven, walking around doing her Nicki Minaj and B. Simone impression. She's been doing it since she started talking. And it's like, okay, she's trying to do the B. Simone thing, talking like that. You know, like, girl, you sound like B. Simone. She's been doing the whole little Nicki thing. I said, she wants to be a comedian. I'm convinced. She wants to be a comedian. She ain't focused on the cabaret, because she can't even dance. Them two can't even dance. So, boring. Wet look crazy. Wet look crazy as how they done snatched a girl wig off, playing with a wig, titties out. She's giving real, she's real hit. Like, She ain't it. She is not it at all. At all, at all. Shouting match continues. They're yelling back and forth, still screaming. They're trying to keep the girls apart. And what's her name? CASHAPP still throwing things at Wet. So now they have them separated at this point, but they're still shouting insults at each other. Wet is calling CASHAPP a man, calling her boy, boy, and all of that. I didn't like that. I did not like that. Well, this is a woman. Don't misgender her because she's not fitting what you find beautiful. Because you know what? She called her a crackhead. CASHAPP called Wet a crackhead. She do look like she's been struggling for sure. She called CASHAPP a man. I don't think CASHAPP looks like a man, but she's acting real mannish, like very aggressive, unnecessarily. So they're still going back and forth, throwing things at each other. Now, Wet, good aim, launches a Red Bull at CASHAPP's face, hits her in the face somehow, slices her face. Her face is now bleeding. She sees red. Now the girls are talking smack in the confessionals. What's her name? Lexi, Blow, and Lollipop. Lollipop wanted to see CASHAPP get hit in the face again with the bottle. She said she could get hit one or two more times or something like that. She said that's gonna be interesting when the girls see all that back, all that smack talking. Lexi Blow's like, oh, you guys are being losers, whatever, all these bitches can go, you know, talking her mess in the confessionals, but she's talking extra spicy in these confessionals, which is gonna be interesting when all the girls see that these girls are, you know, talking smack about them but not saying it to them. She's been extra spicy in her confessionals. So while all this is going on, the girls get separated. The girls separate at this point. CASHAPP is seeing red. She's screaming and hollering, threatening to use her imaginary beef stick on Wet. It was just a lot. I hope she learned something from this because she looked absolutely crazy. It was cringy to watch. It's like, girl, you're extra. Like, if you think about, I'm pretty sure the girl is super annoying, but the way it looks to us, it does not look appealing at all whatsoever. Very disappointed. So they separate the girls, and somehow Raven darts past security, all the staff, and gets to Wet because they put Wet to the side. Runs up on her. She can't even fight. Now, first of all, I'm pretty sure they were drinking, and that's all they do is sit there and drink. She's fighting her with her head back like this. You can't fight with your, like, I ain't no Gaia now. I don't need to be fighting, but at least when you fight, you put your hands up or something. At least, like, you can't have your head back and swing. It was foolish. She went over there and got embarrassed and fell to the floor. These girls are fighting with their ass, their titties out, and it's like, chill, like, I got all cute and spicy to win a role, and all the girls that did not win are fighting in the way, doing the entire moves. I'm convinced you all want camera time, but isn't that the goal? Isn't that the goal for you guys to be on camera? So she ends up running up on her, falling to the floor. That was a waste. That was a waste for sure. Now, I mentioned Raven was doing her beast mode, asking all this wild, goofy stuff. Joseline and Ballistic. It's like too much cutting. It's like in between these scenes, we see Joseline and Ballistic talking like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, all this madness, why they're fighting. How are these fighting? How are these scenes being? Where are you going in the midst of all of this? So you just leaving the room and these girls are just fighting? Aren't you guys all in the same area? We just had the winners. They fought while y'all was sitting at the table, while she was sitting with the winners. They fought right there. Y'all all in the same room, so how the hell you don't know what's going on? Like, I was sitting here like, why are they playing in our faces? It was just a lot. CASHAPP's still shouting. She's shouting at the camera because now they're all separated because there's a lot going on. Because they have one girl here, one girl there. Joseline's over here talking here. Capri is over here like, oh, she's disrespectful, she's this, she's that. I'm like, why are you so focused on her? If she was that annoying, you could have walked away, you know? Just walk away. But apparently, I'm convinced a lot of these girls have issues, because there is no way, these chicks are nutty. They're nuts, or whatever. It's beyond me. Now back to the next scene. We see Capri getting dressed. All the girls are getting dressed after the last fight with Raven and Black Diamond. So Capri's naked at this point because she just had on fishnets and pasties and like a little G-string. She's naked. She's talking to the camera like, I'm gonna beat her ass every day. Every time I see her, I'll beat her ass. I'm like, you're focused on the wrong things. You're supposed to be a part of the cabaret, not beating this girl up every day. And she points about the cut. We clearly see she hit you in the face with the bottle, saying like, oh, she just hit me with something, so don't get slick on, you know, on social media about her getting hit in the face. You still got hit in the face, whether it was a bottle, whether it was a fist, whatever. It's still something that people are going to talk about. You got hit in the face with a Red Bull. So many jokes we could do with the Red Bull hitting you in the face with the wings and things like that. So it doesn't matter if she hit you with her fist and you bled, or she hit you with a sharp object. At the end of the day, you threw something at her. You started this fight. She's trying to find logic within the whole incident, but you started the fight. You took it to physical violence. You took it to the next level at the end of the day. So you got your own self cut in the face because you didn't have to put your hands on her. You started the fight at the end of the day. So I didn't understand why she was so upset. Misplaced anger. And then she's saying that she beat her up and things like that. She got her licks in, but Capri did not beat her up. She really didn't beat her up. It was just like a lot of scuffling, falling on the floor. She did get some hits in and things like that, but she did not beat the girl up because the girl fought three people so far. She fought Capri, Black Diamond, and Raven, and didn't get beat up. And she still was up, standing, ready to fight them again. They kept running up on her. I will say this about Wet. Although she cannot fight, she's not afraid to fight. You know how like some people talk smack about other people, and then when they get confronted to fight, they don't fight. Like they all do the all rah rah rah. They're like, no, I don't want to. You know, they back down. They don't stand 10 toes in. Miss Wet is like, listen, y'all not gonna jump me. Y'all not gonna bully me. I'ma fight y'all. Y'all may get y'all licks off, I'ma hold my own. That was her whole thing through the whole episode. She was geeked up. She was impressed with herself. I held my own. And if you think about it, she really did. She really did. These girls are bigger than her. Every last one of them are bigger than her. Capri is 6'3". She didn't beat this girl up. So my dog is deciding to make her debut once again in this video. Along with her pitter-pattering feet across this hardwood floor and her barking because she's a fake guard dog. I'm over it at this point, but we're gonna press on and continue. So like I was saying, Capri did not beat up Wet in my opinion. Like they didn't do enough damage. She didn't do enough damage. Black Diamond didn't do enough damage, and the other one, Raven, they didn't really do much because the girl was still up, shaking her butt, her little cheeks shaking, and still running off at the mouth. As I felt like Capri spent most of her energy screaming at the top of her lungs. I'm pretty sure if it was if it was other circumstances, she probably would have tore Miss Wet apart, but she was doing too much yelling and screaming, and like I said, misguided anger, and I was just once again disappointed. And it's like, girl, I wanted to see you dance. I was excited to see this tall girl bust a move. She was doing headstands, things like that. She's fighting Wet. Out of all the girls, y'all, once again, it's the Miss Wet episode. It should just be called Everybody Hates Wet. That's what the season should be called. This is what the show should be called. Like, everybody hates Chris, everybody hates Wet, because they make every episode about her. Every episode for the most part. Like, it's either Wet showing her Paris and London, the breast, if it's either that or Gospel Hour with Gaia. It's either one or the other. Like a set of twisted dark fantasy, Jesus and Pum Pum. Like it's just too much. It's just too much, yo. It's just too much. So we come to find out Black Diamond hurt her arm. I said she should have minded the business that paid her because she had no business fighting, getting in that situation. Now they're trying to get her to go to the emergency room and fear that she may broke her arm. She's feeling tension. They said it feels weird, it's looking weird. And she's like, no, I can stay. Thirsty. What I've noticed about the dynamic of Black Diamond and Raven, their loyalty is not the same. Their loyalty to each other is not the same, right? I'm gonna tell you why. So Black Diamond was gonna go to the emergency room. Joseline and staff and ballistics was encouraging her to go to the emergency room. You know, Raven was like, I'm gonna go with her. No, you're not going by yourself. Yada yada yada. Right? Standing in it, running up, fighting for her. X, Y, and Z. Now remember, when they all met Joseline, they were singing, and Joseline was asking who could sing X, Y, and Z. Raven was one of the girls that sang as well, and she kicked Raven out. Right? So upon her kicking Raven out, she points to Black Diamond and said, you want to go with your friend? She said no. So that'll tell you something. That's it. They don't have the same energy towards each other. So I caught that. So after that, basically, what's her name? It's the girl. Wet fought 3 girls in. 3 girls in. They're still hollering. Grant Raven screaming. Girl done mashed up her arm to my next notes. Now Joseline is talking to Wet. Wet is basically breaking down like, this girl is pressed. Why they paying me mine? I'm clapping for Amber. I'm clapping for the winner. She's mad because she didn't win. She mad because she's sitting over here. That's why she was upset. That's why CASHAPP was upset, because she did not win. Because if she won, she would have been sitting pretty with the rest of the girls. This guy to anger. She was mad at this girl for no reason. I still stand in that. Just still hollering, screaming, and yelling in the background. She yelled and screamed at the whole episode. Her and Wet screamed and hollered at each other the whole episode, screaming at the top of their lungs. I was so over it. So Wet gets called the crackhead by CASHAPP, and I was like, well, I think she looked a little bit that she had a rough life, which she gets into towards the end of the episode. So they tell the girls to go get dressed. They're trying to wrap it up. This episode was exhausting. I'm pretty sure they were at this strip joint all day, and all they did was yell, holler, and scream. I'm not a fan of hollering, screaming, and yelling. I have to be very upset to holler and scream and yell. These girls been yelling at the top of their lungs ever since they stepped foot on camera. It's ridiculous. So as Wet's getting dressed, Gaia's crazy ass pops up from underneath the table. So now she's under an office table, hiding under, you know, like the ones with the shelves and things on the side, and you know how it's the desk and you can tuck underneath. That girl is hiding underneath there with her Bible, sitting Indian style. And Wet was like, girl, what are you doing? What's going on? So Gaia calls herself trying to cast demons out of Wet. And I'm like, here she go again with the shit. Here she goes again with the mess. I had to write this stuff down because it blew me. I was like, is this girl real? Is she acting? They had to find her because there's no way. There's no way. So they're going back and forth. She's trying to cast this demon out of her. Wet looks exhausted. She's like, girl, I don't have time for you. Go talk to the man. What she's referring to is CASHAPP. I did not like that. I did not like the fact that she was calling that girl a man, and the girl did not look like a man. The girl is cute. It's just that she's not portraying herself like a lady. She's very aggressive and belligerent. Very aggressive and belligerent, yelling like a banshee. Is ridiculous. She's basically grabbing her arm, trying to. They're like tussling a little bit, like with arms. So they get to shaking in the room. Gaia slams Wet on the ground. Slams her on the ground, calls herself casting demons out of her. Gaia has issues. She's crazy as hell. She can go. I'm pretty much over Gaia at this point. She's doing too much. It's the antics for me. It's like y'all had to. She does not seem real. It's either she has issues or she's a damn good actress, because it ain't right. It ain't right whatsoever. It's all wrong. It's ridiculous. She playing a victim, told my son, she tried to fight me, I'm gonna call the police. If she puts her hands on me, I'm gonna press charges on all of you. I'm like, girl, you the one body slamming people, and you grabbed her by her hand. She just fought 3 other women. I would fight you too, because I don't know, you a little off. I might have to fight you too. I've been fighting all these girls all night. You want to fight too? So basically she attacks Wet. Wet wants to fight at this point. Wet's like, bring her out. Mind you, Wet still ain't got no wig on. Wet titties still out. She got a coat on with her titties out. I'm like, these 5-month-old titties, you just get it together, girl. Get it together. So Joseline comes over, and Joseline's confessionals have me dying. She's like, I look at the bitch like she's in pure disgust, talking about Wet all episode. Joseline's terrible. She is terrible. Like she's not really looking for a residency or luxury cabaret or a real strip joint, because where did she get these girls from? These girls are raggedy as hell. They are raggedy AF, Joe. Over it. So Gaia starts playing the victim, told my son that Wet tried to attack her, lying in everybody's face. Mind you, like, we don't see y'all on camera, you just blatantly lying. So I'm like, is there something really wrong with her that she thinks that Wet attacked her? Mind you, when she slams her on the ground, she's sitting there pulling a damn Miss Ratched, reciting. I don't know if any of you guys watch Miss Ratched. She worked in an insane asylum with a bunch of mentally challenged people, and there was a chick up there that thought she was Hitler and a marshal, and that's what Gaia was giving. I was like, good night with the what's that show? American Horror Story shenanigans. Like, please, with the Ryan Murphy shenanigans Gaia is giving right now, and I can't wait till she goes. I hope this is her last episode, because she's annoying as hell. Beautiful body is ridiculous. This girl is nuts. This girl's crazy as hell. Like, for real. Like, we don't need her. We don't need her. It's an emotional roller coaster at this point. It's like, enough is enough. Can we get to the dancing? Can we get to like pretty girls and, you know, a little bit of drama? But it's just exhausting drama, especially when you sprinkle a little Jesus in it. And it's like, how you gonna be? Enough. So she's sitting there lying in everybody's face, playing in our faces. So my son, this girl attacked her, and it's like, she did not attack you, child. Nobody attacked you. So Joseline shuts them up from talking, because they're asking this. She's like, everybody's saying that you're lying. Wet still wants to fight. She's like, you guys want to square up? And she's won. And she's like, I already won the match. I won the match. I won fair and square. Ma'am, nobody was trying to fight you. It's something wrong with her. Mind you, she was under the table telling her parents or something fight like that, and she had to cast the demons up out of her. And what else she said? That girl damn said she had to cast the demons up out of her. It's either she just does the exorcism, or she's had to just beat somebody's ass, and she's just all over the place. Like, she went from talking like a little baby, and then shouting out the dude that she did an exorcism on, because he had pimp spirit on him, and he had a big beef stick. Shout out to him. All this weird she was bouncing back and forth between multiple characters, and I was over it. I was like, who are you? So weird. I was just over her. So Joseline lets them fight. So I could tell Gaia didn't put 100% on fighting this girl, because I'm pretty sure she could have beat her up, because she knows some stuff. But Wet gave her all. Fight number 4, mind you. Gave her all. this girl is like, you can say that girl ain't no punk. She may not be the best fighter, but she ain't no punk. She'll fight. She gonna sit there and run her mouth. She might as well fight, y'all. But it was ridiculous. So they separate them, split them up. Gaia has to go one way, Wet has to go another way. So Ballistics and Joseline sit and talk to Gaia, and she's like, you gotta stop fighting. You're gonna go to the hotel. You could dance, you could stay, but you have to cut it out. Ballistic is repeating that you can't be wrestling. It was annoying because he was talking over Joseline. It's like, you talking too much. Like, hush up. Like, let Joseline get her words out. It's the Joseline's Cabaret. Even though what he was saying was valid. Like, you can't be wrestling all the girls. You can't be fighting all the girls. Like, they thought it was funny. There's something wrong with Gaia. She goes into defense mode and then plays victim. It's really weird. Within a blink of an eye, like instantly. And her facial expressions, it's like, is this girl acting like she really is a nut job? It's no way. It's no way for me. So next scene, Joseline ends up recapping the fight to the girls. So all the girls are sitting there. Wet is in the back. All the girls are sitting in front. And she's explaining. She's like, you guys gotta stop fighting. I was trying to celebrate with the girls. I guess we're gonna do it another time. And you know, Jesus, they call her Jesus God, cut it out. But Gaia attacked Wet. So then Cabaret doesn't care. She's like, so who cares? So you care really, Joseline? You really care? She's like, I do. She's like, huh. And what was funny is that she said that Wet was being rude and disrespectful to Joseline. You're questioning Joseline whether she cares about somebody or not. Like, that can come off as you being rude, because I'm pretty sure if the roles were reversed and it was Wet, you would have been flipping through the roof. Oh, she's disrespectful. You're disrespecting Joseline. It looks like disrespect to me because she's talking to you guys and you're interrupting when she just needs you to shut the hell up and listen, because you've been shouting and screaming and carrying on the whole episode. I'm really disappointed in Cabaret. I really am. These are words of love, because I wanted her to be good. And then especially, you know, the biggest girl there, it's gonna look crazy. The whole thing looks crazy. I hope if she looks back, I get to see how crazy she looks, because it was not a good look. It's not, the whole situation was nothing to be proud of, for sure. So they sit and recap about the fight, and she's complaining about her being hit in the face with the can of Red Bull. So she's like, oh, I just was throwing water. You want to keep somebody in the house that throwing objects and knives and things like that? I'm pretty sure that it's in y'all contract, y'all can't throw knives and stuff like that. But I'm gonna say this, I believe if you're gonna fight, there's no rules in street fighting, right? You're fighting in a club and all that. People throw what's near them. You started throwing stuff in the first place. You threw some. So just because, it's like, if I punch you in the face and you stab me right after, and it's like, oh, but I just punched you. What? You can't tell somebody how to fight. You can't tell somebody how to fight. And girl, you're 6'3". If I was her, I've been throwing the kitchen sink, everything at your big ass. I've been throwing everything at you. You big, girl. What are you talking about? You lucky she didn't get that bottle and throw it across the thing. She thought about it, but she wasn't really about that life to throw that big ass bottle, because that would have been toe up. You lucky all she threw was a can, because she picked up a few things, and you could have got the brat, knocked the girl. One of those situations. You lucky that didn't happen for something that you started. How you start something and then get mad how the person chooses to fight back? It's beyond me. But okay. So she sits and complains about her going blind. She could possibly went blind. It would have cut her. You should have thought about that fighting. Anything could have happened. You guys were fighting near tables and chairs and things like that, and you slipped and hit. You could have slipped and hit your head on the floor and went into a coma. So what's the difference? Because she got a one-up on you, basically, and she don't fight how you fight, and then you're calling her scary and all these things like that. But if you know a person is scary, why fight them? I don't think she's that scary, because every time you ran up, even though she ain't prepared, she's still gonna like do her best. Bitch, you 6'3". Who's gonna be excited about fighting you? I would throw everything at you. Lucky that she ain't picked that. She had a bottle, and she could have launched that bottle. She thought about it. Lucky it was just a can. Now we're getting towards the end of the episode. Okay, I forgot. In the midst of the meleeing and the fighting, Wet Wet sat down with one of the producers, and we learned a lot about her. She's been emmed, by a cousin. Her mom and father were on drugs, so I'm pretty sure she was a birth product of heroin and I think she said crack or something like that. I'm not really too sure. Don't quote me, but her parents were drug addicts, so she had a really rough life. She was in a shelter not that long before I guess she showed up on the Cabaret, and she also is a single mother. So I see she's dealing with a lot, and she said that nothing that was in from her past is gonna disrupt her for the person that she's gonna be today. So she doesn't take everything in the house too serious with the other women. She's just gonna stand up for herself and keep it moving. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, although she could come off annoying on the show, but I don't think she's that bad of a person. Like, these girls have issues. Like I said, I know they're gonna look back at themselves and say, "Eesh," and if they don't, it's a sad sight. But they all go home. Basically, they go back to the house. She's gonna keep Wet Wet in a hotel room while the other girls go to the house. And I feel like that's whack, where these girls want to jump on this one particular person, like one of the smaller people at that can't fight. What's the point? Oh, because she's running her mouth. That's the whole point of the show, and she's understanding the assignment. I'm pretty sure I said that in the last review, but now these girls have issues, every last one of them for the most part. So the next episode looks interesting. I was over Wet Wet's wig in the next episode with this carrot top curly unit that she probably should have teased a little bit. It just was. This show is. I'm gonna watch the next one. I'm gonna watch the next episode, but it's just too much. Like, it's not good. It's not good. Like, oh, I can't wait to see the next episode. I was like, oh, this is coming on. I don't have nothing to do. I'm at work. Let me just watch this real quick while I'm sitting here doing some computer work while I'm at the desk. Like, it's not giving what it should have gave. Like, last season was good. Like, this season is alright, but it's like these girls are yelling and screaming and barking too much. Y'all not even. The majority of them can't dance. This is why Joseline's playing in our face. The majority of them can't dance for real. And they're not appealing whatsoever. They're washed as a collective. Like I said, they're not the top-notch girls. I'm pretty sure Joseline could have got some hotter chicks to do this. Listen to me, like, misjudging too much, but it's just for shits and giggles. So I hope you enjoyed the review. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also share this video. You can follow me on all social media platforms. I am on Twitter and Instagram. My title name, ToucheTashe. The same for Instagram and Twitter. I will link it in the description box below. And I hope to see you guys in the next review. Bye.